Welcome to MPItv. I'm Sarah Solomon Dodden. Now, as you can see, this is not our usual MPItv studio because, like many of you, our team is also working from home during these challenging times. But we still thought it was important to bring relevant content your way, especially around force majeure. So joining us today is Joshua Grimes with Grimes Law Offices to talk a little bit more about force majeure. Joshua, thank you so much for joining us. Let's dive right in. What is the force majeure within a contract?
Force majeure clauses are intended to deal with situations that nobody anticipates. So if the economy might go bad, that's typically not a force majeure situation. What is a hurricane, other bad weather, sometimes labor disputes, situations, health issues, if all the airlines stop operating, things that are unforeseeable and not contemplated, but could cause our meeting or event to either not happen or not happen the way that we anticipate.
And what should meeting planners and suppliers consider when crafting their force majeure alongside a specialist like yourself?
So you really need to think about everything broadly. What could happen? Not what will happen, what's likely to happen. What could happen that's going to cause me to not want to go forward with my meeting? So for instance, if something happens like terrorism that will cause your attendees to not want to travel, you need to include terrorism. Hotels will say it has to be terrorism in the meeting city within 30 days of your event. That's a typical hotel contract term. Well, does that really do it for you? Because for many groups, if there's terrorism anywhere, your attendees might not want to get on a plane. Currently, we have a great learning experience. The CDC, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, doesn't say don't travel. They recommend you not travel. So would that a recommendation or an advisory be enough for a force majeure, or does the force majeure have to be an order? So bottom line is you really need to think about everything broadly to know what works for your group, your organization, or your vendor, your company.
So of course, with many cancellations taking place across the events industry, what should planners be looking for within their force majeure that have already been signed?
The first thing I'd say, read your clause very carefully. It's not always obvious to people what they're allowed to do by the force majeure clause they've negotiated. So for instance, some of you have clauses that say you can only cancel if it becomes illegal or impossible to move forward. But legally, the word impossible doesn't always mean literally impossible. It can mean if it would be an undue hardship to go forward. And then before you discuss things with your hotels or other suppliers, think about them. What are they facing and what would work for them? Do you need to cancel? Can you postpone your meeting? Are you able to move forward if your vendors agree to waive attrition charges? There's all sorts of ways you can sometimes make this work so that it works for you, it works for your hotels and suppliers as well. And that's really, I think, the best way to do it. Though at the end of the day, you have to be true to yourself and the people that you're working for also.
If you would like additional guidance on event contracts and your force majeure clause, you can contact Joshua at grimesj@grimeslaw.org. And to learn more, be sure to read the full story in the April issue of The Meeting Professional. Thanks for joining us on MPItv.